Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you're watching this interview anywhere else but within our private community, be sure to come join us. The name of our community is called High Ticket Client Interaction Insider Circle. And today, I want to introduce you to one of our community members, Jessica. Welcome, Jessica.
Hi, thank you very much.
Awesome, you're welcome. So tell us, Jessica, tell us a bit about your business. What is it that you do?
Well, I have a cruise company in Ecuador in the Galapagos Islands. These are three yachts that navigates the islands. They do trips around there, and you can live on board. It's very exclusive, very small ones, 16 passengers on board with a huge cabin and private balconies. Really a nice experience.
Oh, that sounds awesome. So a cruise company, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
We started 15 years ago, being pioneers in luxury cruising in the Galapagos Islands.
Uh-huh. Awesome. So what got you why cruising? What got you into that?
Well, my life in tourism started very young, at the age of 16. I used to travel around Ecuador, which is my country, with my aunt that is a travel guide. And just one thing led to the other, and then since then tourism has been my life.
Hmm. Awesome. So with COVID-19 going on, has that affected the business?
Yes, a lot. As many of you have heard, tourism is one of the first industries in being affected, and also probably the one that's going to recover the last. So the borders of my country were closed the 12th of March, and since then it's been totally closed and isolated. So no tourists have been able to visit the country. So it's full stop for the business right now.
Hmm. And the quarantine, are you guys facing a quarantine as well too? Is it still in effect where you're at?
Yes, well, we have not only quarantine, but we also have full curfew from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Our country has taken very, very strict measures to keep us inside the houses. We are Latinos. We are not so obedient of the law, so they need to reinforce that a little bit harder on us.
Yeah. And what country did you say you were in?
Well, I'm in Ecuador.
Hmm.
Yes,
Okay,
and the
Ecuador.
Galapagos Islands is one of our provinces.
Okay, cool. Awesome, awesome. Love it. So so I guess tell us about the business and what type of clients do you cater to?
Yes, well, it's basically luxury clients, high-end clients, and what happens is that they come to us through a travel agent in the States, for example, or in Europe, or that they find us directly on our webpage. Then they book a cruise through us, and not only a cruise to the Galapagos Island, but they also book other tours in Ecuador. We have the Amazon jungle, we have the Andes Mountains, we have also the Pacific coast. So it's a small country that has a little bit of everything. And what we do is a full butler service, if we call it. So we receive our clients from the moment they arrive to Ecuador until they leave. They have a full luxury service with us. And the main part of this tour normally is the Galapagos Islands, because it's so unique in the world. Where animals are not afraid of humans, so they get very, very close to you. And we are also a top example of conservation in the world.
Hmm. Awesome. So how did you, I guess, what would you say is responsible for your success as far as, are you pretty big, like a visionary or something like that? What'd you say?
Well, I didn't do it all alone, of course. Part of the success is always having a good partner that complements what your ideas and puts them in place. But I think being a pioneer and doing things different, trying to do the things different. But the key of a successful product is that you do something that you would use yourself or that you would visit yourself. So all of the business I've created or co-created in tourism has been like that. It's always places or experiences that I would love to do myself.
Hmm. Now, have you created a lot of different businesses?
Well, yes, we started with a travel agency and then a hotel by the Pacific Ocean, which I still have. Then the first luxury lodge in the Amazon jungle. And so far, we've built 7 yachts that are currently navigating the Galapagos Islands. At the moment, we manage only 3 of them.
Hmm. Okay. Now, and as far as entrepreneurship, would you say you've always been an entrepreneur?
Yes, I guess so.
Yeah.
One of the main things that had shown me that I am an entrepreneur is that I don't like to have a boss. I like to be the boss.
Yeah.
So that's I guess a very important
Hmm.
part of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Now, do you believe entrepreneurship, is that a skill you believe that could be learned, or is it something you just like, either you just natural, either you have it or you don't?
Oh, I would say that you are born with it. I don't think many people that are not like they don't have it in their core. I don't think people would like to go to be entrepreneurs. It's not an easy task. You need to have certain qualities and some crazy bravery, and part of it is also being a bit of workaholic to be an entrepreneur. So I really don't think you can learn it. I think you have to be born with it, or be born with something that can develop to be an entrepreneur.
Hmm. And what skills, what would you say are the most critical skills it takes to maybe be an entrepreneur?
I think it's probably not being scared or being fearless of just jumping in. If you have an idea, jumping in. Um, yeah, like adventurous, because to be an entrepreneur, sometimes you have to do things that you cannot measure, like you cannot study previously, you just have to trust in your gut feeling. You have to be very in tune with your body, because you do need a lot of gut feelings and listening to your guts in order to get there and go for it. And people skills, like convincing people of something that might sound crazy and convincing them of doing it.
Hmm. Yeah, that is so powerful. I know most of my audience, they're coaches, consultants, service providers, and a lot of them, they're either just getting started on their journey or some have already been established. But I know this message is pretty important for a lot of them, because I definitely believe that just hearing somebody else's experience of how they did it, just like you said, one of the things is fearless, right? So you have to be, in a sense, fearless, because you have to be okay with putting yourself out there, facing a rejection, saying something that maybe people might not agree with, but you're still confident in who you are, what you do to stand by that decision. That is so powerful. So the question I have for you now is, in terms of your own process as well. Do you do like a lot of, how does it happen for you? Do you do a lot of personal development, personal growth, or are you just a natural, um, you could just do stuff without having to depend on any external sources?
Well, I know that's not true. You always need something else, something extra. Like I said, have the support of a team. You don't know it all, so you need that. But also, you need to take care of your soul and yourself. So, meditation is one of the biggest part of my life, my preparation every day in the morning, and taking care of myself, taking breaks is important. Like I said, to be an entrepreneur, you really need to have this little workaholic in you, but at the same time, you need to be very strict on setting aside time for yourself.
Hmm. Why do you think that is? Why do you need time for yourself?
Well, because the moment that you disconnect and you get some time for yourself, then you have a different perspective of everything. And normally good ideas come exactly in those moments, not when you are focusing on working or focusing on developing something, but when you actually take this little time off.
Hmm. Yeah, that is so true. I know it's the same thing for me as well too, right? So I would say I'm kind of a bit of a workaholic. I'm always going, 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 and every now and then I hit a roadblock. And typically, in the past at least, my first reaction to get over that roadblock was just to say, "Well, I got to keep working hard. I got to keep going down that path a little bit more." Versus, I find that whenever I take a break, I forgot what am I learned that from someone, forgot what it is, but they always say every now and then just walk away from your work, right? Whatever you're doing, just take some time, just walk away and get away. And it seems like when you walk away, everything, all the problems you face, all the challenges, because you walk when you're doing something different, it just takes on a whole different perspective, and it seems a lot smaller than in the moment when you're really trying to figure it out. So I definitely believe in those taking breaks and stuff like that. So you said meditation. What does your meditation look like? Would you mind sharing?
Sure. At the beginning, I started a lot with guided meditations. Normally, the ones you find online, some free, some paid. Then I had to. I went. I looked the help of a coach, and my coach was helping me in theta meditation. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's a kind of meditation that puts your brain in these theta waves, right? And then with some training doing the theta meditation, right now I just sit there and do it without any help of music or sounds or anything. I just managed to sit there and put my brain into this state.
Hmm. Okay. Now, are you pretty familiar with all the different, I guess, the brain waves, the theta, delta, alpha?
Not all of them, no.
Mm.
But theta, yes, because it helped me a lot into this disconnection thing. I mean, it was very difficult for me to disconnect and think about something else than work, and was very close to getting a burnout. But eh, luckily, I found this coach that helped me do this.
Hmm. So it was ultimately training yourself too, and the theta brainwave. Which one is that? What's that responsible for? Like, what's yeah?
I think it's 7 or 8
Wave.
megahertz
Uh-huh.
wave. Yeah. Well, what's the effect of it is that you're actually awake. You're conscious. You're not sleeping, because the sleeping is a different one, right? And
Hmm.
but you're conscious. You can respond to everything around you, but at the same time your body is in a very very deep state of relaxation, to the point that you don't even feel that you have a body.
Hmm.
So, and then you go through a process of expansion where you don't find any limits in your body. So you feel like you can fill up a room, you can fill up a building, or it's part of the exercise, is that go out to that expansion level where your body just fades away.
Hmm. Awesome. Perfect. Love it. Now you mentioned something about burnout. With burnout, how does burnout typically look? Is burnout something you've experienced quite a lot, or is it you've just experienced it
No,
a few times?
no. I think this was the first time I didn't get to the point where I've
Hmm.
heard other people get to a really, really bad point in their physically, right? They feel very sick, or they almost feel that they might get a heart attack or something like that. I just felt extremely tired, and couldn't really focus, couldn't think right, and just felt that I didn't want to get out of bed for like a week or so. And yeah, it was just a very extreme and deep sense of tiredness.
Hmm. And when you did that, how did you? how did you recover? Was it that's when you went into the meditation? That's when you started
Yes.
implement those practices. Now, before that, did you do any of those types of things before?
No, I mean, I was familiar with meditating, but not very often. And I do yoga, but mostly as an exercise, not really as a practice that puts you in the now. I wasn't doing much to actually not getting to that point. It was not consciously done for that. It was mostly, like I said, mostly done as an exercise, or meditating was more to find answers or to get in tune with my gut feeling, but it was not to focus on relaxing my body.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Have you ever done any type of personality tests or anything like that? Have you ever looked into those things?
Yes, I did it once. I don't remember very well the results. It was this test where you get like 4 letters,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
The
and
Myers-Briggs.
yeah, and it was very accurate, but and very extreme. Lots of contrast. I'm a person of contrasts. I'm an introvert, although it doesn't seem like it. But on the other side, I love social activities. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like a strange way,
Yeah.
but. Mhm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I did one of those. Well, actually, I'm working with someone. Well, I did one of those. I've done them before, but when I did them the last time, I was like, holy goodness! Now I kind of see my personality and all these different things because I believe in life. Certain personalities, like it's really good to be aware of what yours is, because a lot of people see it and they're like, oh, this is who I am and this is just what I am. But I kind of look at them from a perspective of that's who kind of like my behaviors, right? It's not really who
Mhm.
I am. I am, but it's more based on my behaviors. That's how I'm kind of conditioned, because I realize the place I want to get to in my life, my business, just based on those 4 letters or whatever that thing is, it's not going to get me there. There has to
No,
be some type of shift, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think I am very against labels,
Mm-hmm.
especially as I grew up being different and in all the stages of my life, like in my school. To explain you a little bit, my country is mostly indigenous people, and there is a very small population of African Ecuadorians. And my parents moved to a mostly indigenous community or city, and so I was the different one at school. And then I think that has to do with the fact that I just don't believe in labels. People would put you on a stamp, but at the end of the day, I think you decide exactly what you want to be and where you want to go and what you want to do.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful as well to what you just said here, because I know a lot with yeah, a lot of those personality types and all these different exercise on all of these different things. A lot of people they use them to kind of like box themselves in. Well, I'm this person, I'm this way because, and it kind of gives them a reason to justify why what because I realize most of the times, right? So we want results in our life, and then when we go to taking the action, we realize, well, maybe it's not something we're comfortable with, or we haven't done it before, so we're kind of new, and we were like, there's a little bit of fear in these different types of things. And a lot of people I've realized they kind of lean back on whatever their personality is or whatever, saying, well, that's the reason why I can do this, or that's the reason why I can do that, and all these different things. So I definitely agree with you as far as not really taking these labels as the thing, because if you do, that puts so many limits on your life, right?
Yeah, and then it gives you also excuses, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like I said, I do know that I am shy in certain situations, but I know also that suddenly I can just be super open and talk to a stranger in the street, something that I would normally don't do.
Mm-hmm.
But if I would believe in that my box or my label is an introvert, then I wouldn't get the courage to do anything.
Yeah, it's the same here as well. So because I'm a big introvert myself as well too. But at the same time, when it comes to talking to people, my days spent just talking to all day, every day. I think over the past like 2 weeks, I've probably had conversations with over, I would say maybe over like 130 people, right, in just a 2 week period. So I could
Yeah.
show you if I had let the whole, oh, I'm an introvert or whatever, if I had really attached to that in the beginning, I did. But once you realize, okay, that's just a thing, you could let it go. You could be whatever you want to be. So powerful.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I love to talk in public, which is very strange.
Hmm.
Like I hear all these people saying they are so scared of talking in public and they get nervous and they forget about everything. And I love that.
Yeah.
But then talking like one,
Hmm.
even in the camera is like, oh,
Yeah.
a bit scary.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think everything is just my whole philosophy on life and business. Everything is just like a skill, right? Like, because I believe that there's two things. Number one, the external, which is knowing that if you haven't done something before, there will be fear, there will be a little bit of uncertainty, there will be a little bit of like shakiness to where you're not sure if you could do it because you haven't done before. But I believe if you could get past that, which is just do it anyways, which is just hey, just do it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? But the practice of just doing it, it just keeps making you better and better. And then the second part, I believe, though, but I also believe that mindset wise, right inside of us there are some type of blocks or something that, whether it's thinking, values, beliefs, whatever, they keep the external from ever happening, right? Because as you know, if you want results, if you want to build a business, whatever you want to do, most of the stuff has already been figured out. There's a lot of smart people who came before us and they've done this stuff, so there's really good role models. But the issue becomes like, why can't everybody do it? And then you start going into the psychology and you start realizing that, oh, based on how this person sees the world, what's going on in their heads, how they process information, them being here and getting to there, it's almost like impossible unless something in here changes, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's beliefs and attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you asked me before if anybody can be entrepreneur, and I do think you need certain skills in you already to
Mm-hmm.
do it. But then there are other activities and other things that probably an entrepreneur wouldn't be capable of doing. Um, but it's just a matter of decision. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you decide one day to, I don't know, yeah, be extrovert, for example, then probably you could. I don't know. I
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
think
So
it's a matter of decision, yeah, and
yeah,
attitude.
yeah. What about, are you pretty big into self-education, books, podcasts, reading?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I started with by coincidence, although I don't believe in coincidence. But I found a book from Paulo Coelho,
Mm-hmm.
and since then I love to just buy any book I think might give me some extra information to what I do, or sometimes things that doesn't relate to what I do, just so you to know something more.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, I'm reading this very interesting book about Jesus, and it's like an investigation from a person that has done research for 35 years trying to prove that Jesus actually existed, or that he actually did all the things that the religion says he did. And it's extremely interesting because, of course, it's very objective. They don't talk about these huge and miracles that you cannot prove, but they talk about exactly how his life was and what he did and when he did it. So that has nothing to do with what I do or not, but I just thought it was something interesting to know about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what about just where you are right now in your life? What would you say is the core driver for you right now in terms of why you do what you do?
Ooh, that's a difficult question because it's a matter of feeling. I could, if I wanted to, I could just stop doing everything. This time during pandemic and Corona has hit the business really hard, and I could just stop it. I could say like, okay, and now I will retire for a little while. But that feeling, that energy that doing something gives me is what drives me. I have a family, I have my kids, I have my partner, but I hear a lot of people always saying that some external things motivate them, or I don't know, money maybe, or adventures, traveling motivates them. But for me, it's more that feeling that it gives me.
Yeah, I'm the same way as well. So, because a lot of people, because we build a pretty successful coach and consultant business online, and a lot of people ask me like, "Why aren't you traveling? Why aren't you doing this thing? Why, like, what's going on?" And I'm like, I mean, that's cool, but that stuff does not motivate me at all. Like for me, what motivates me is just keep building, right? Keep figuring, okay, where am I at my process, and how do I keep building? But I gotta be building something. But I cannot, at least from my perspective right now. Maybe it might change in the future, but as of today, traveling, money, all these different things, they're cool. They were things, but they're not really the motivating thing for me, right? It's more based on, hey, what am I building here, right? And just keep building that.
Yeah, when starting something new, I have advisors, and sometimes they tell me like, yeah, but it's not gonna be a big business out of it, and I'm like, probably not, but it's gonna be super fun, and I want to do things that I really believe in, and that are fun for me, and that gives me that feeling, not because it's gonna put X amount in my account. So yeah, and it's gone very well, because sometimes the things they've said that it's not going to be big, they end up being really, really big business, but not because it was thought like that, but because it was made with passion. And I think in any business, when something is done with passion, then everything else just falls into place.
Yeah. So there's a saying behind you. What is that saying? What does it say behind you there?
Hakuna Matata, the Lion King.
Yeah, yeah. What does it mean?
No worries. I
Oh,
mean, just
does it really
yeah,
mean that as well?
yes. I don't know if it does. I just love that movie because yeah, that phrase just since the first time I saw it when I was younger,
Uh-huh.
and it just stick with me. It's
Yeah.
no worries, and just enjoy life, and yeah.
So was that sign there before, or were you the one who put it up there?
And no, when I bought this house, then I put it there.
Love it. That's
Yeah.
a really good reminder. Love it.
Yes, so every morning when I wake up and walk around the house, then I can see
hmm
Hakuna Matata. If I am really worried for something, then I see it, and then it reminds me like, you know what, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Awesome. Love it. So question, if someone wanted to reach out, what's the best way for them to be able to connect with you?
Well, email is the best.
hmm
info@haugencruises.com.
hmm Awesome. And that ideal person you would say for you, what you do, your services, who would you say that person is?
Well, it has to be a person that is in love with nature, but that doesn't want to sacrifice comfort in order to enjoy nature. We do have an operation that is ecologically friendly, but that is very, very high standard. So that's sometimes a difficult combination, to be so in tune with nature, but also wanting to have comfort and luxus. One of the mottos I put in place when we built the Jungle Lodge was that you are in the jungle, but the jungle is not in your room. I mean, you can enjoy sitting on your balcony, on your terrace with a glass of champagne and looking out at nature, but you don't really need to have bugs or things inside your room. So it's full luxury, but very close to nature. When you go to the Galapagos Islands, like I said, the animals, they are not scared of people because they don't see us as predators. So they will come very close to you. And then at the end of the excursion, you will have a jacuzzi on the sun deck and champagne and your big room. Our cabins are 30 square meters big. That's big. I don't know in inches, but and then you have your private balcony and you have your butler there serving you. So it's for those kind of people that do want to be close to nature, but with comfort, and also people that want to help nature and help society. We support a lot of projects in Ecuador and in the Galapagos Islands in order to preserve nature, and also to the less lucky population, let's say, from Ecuador. We help them. Part of the income we receive from the tours, then we destinate this for these projects. One is beautiful. It's in a small fisherman village in Ecuador, where we have small kids and they learn to speak English. In my country, very few people speak English, so it's giving them a tool for the future that will, with only that, they will be able to do a lot in the future. And then in the Galapagos Islands, also to be able to preserve the islands. Mm-hmm. We support some projects there.
Yeah, love that, Jessica. Well, hey, thank you so much for making the time to be here today. Really appreciate it. Do you have any final thoughts before we end?
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's been a pleasure and an honor.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Well, enjoy, and we'll talk soon.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Bye.